My media product has used, developed and challenged forms and conventions of real media products in a plethora of ways in order to create a professional and effective outcome. In order to identify and analyse the forms and conventions within my video, I have chosen to look at Andrew Goodwin's theory and analyse my own video accordingly, just like I did to the others in the research and planning, then see how mine compares to those. Andrew Goodwin's first rule is that the music video must demonstrate the genre characteristics, with my chosen genre being alternative with rock undertones. It was quite tricky to have those dark undertones but not have them overshadow the alternative style, all whilst trying to create a new, unique product. For this particular convention, I did use, develop and challenge it throughout my video. I have adhered to the genre characteristics by including a lot of lip syncs, along with the dark and quite edgy mise-en-scène used throughout to ensure the angsty theme was portrayed accurately. Even though the audio was primarily a softer style of piano until the breakdown. The use of the primarily black colour scheme with a pop of red is something that is often associated with Green Day's American Idiot and My Chemical Romance's 3 Cheers for Sweet Revenge era, which are both bands that I looked at when researching and planning this project. It's not very often that alternative rock bands have overly sensitive or emotional songs. In fact, they're usually stereotyped as being very angsty and heartless. However, bands, again, like Green Day and My Chemical Romance, and now 21 Pilots, are all bands that have been working to abolish the stereotype and show that emotions aren't a bad thing and it's okay to struggle. Mostly My Chemical Romance and Green Day gave light to struggling with addiction or the loss of a family member, so I developed that little convention and made mine about bringing light to mental illness, as I believe it's something very important to know about. It's very stereotypical for 21 Pilots and other bands in the genres videos to be quite emotionless and just a performance video with no real concept, or maybe there is some abstract concept that no one really knows or understands. Even Green Day's Wake Me Up When September Ends video has performance as a part of it. I challenged all of those in my videos as I have quite a lot of emotion shown throughout my video. There is no performance aspect and a heavy concept within it that's somewhat explained in it, enough so that the audience have an insight as to what is going on, but not so much as that it's too obvious. The second convention Goodwin suggests is that there is a relationship between the lyrics and the visuals, with them being either illustrative, amplifying, or contradicting. The relationship between my lyrics and visuals is both illustrative and amplifying, as I both displayed some lyrics literally, but I also used the visuals to show the deeper meaning behind the lyrics that may not be understood just by listening to them. Some very literal interpretations of the lyrics are when Liv puts her hand over her throat during the line "Catch My Breath", the long shot where Ashlyn puts her earphones in for the lyrics slip away into the sound, and during the line "Close to Me", where they reach for each other but their hands don't quite touch. One of the amplifying shots is during the "Ghost of You" line, where Liv is edited to appear and fade away again. She's not literally a ghost, it's more like reminiscing of how they used to lay and talk together, but now it's just a ghost of a memory. During the portrait shots, including the lyric "I've got two faces", we used harsh lighting to cast a shadow over half of Liv's face. She doesn't literally have two faces like Professor Quirrell and Voldemort. It's supposed to connote her inner conflict and how she feels she has two personalities within her. Goodwin also comments on the relationship between the music and the visuals in a similar fashion. Again, the relationship between the music and the visuals in my video is both illustrative and amplifying, as I believe that it's the best way to do it. The most stereotypical of the conventions used in my video are the thought beats, which are where clips are cut to the beat, and that happens throughout the whole of my videos. I believe it gives a greater impact to the whole narrative. It also matches the tempo of the audio. Along with this, there are also some visual actions that go with the notes, instead of a thought beat. An example of this is where Liv shuts the door onto the beat of the song. During the slower parts, there are slower actions and nothing is too crazy or frantic just yet. The shots are also longer in length too. Liv makes contact with Ashlyn just before the start of the first drum build-up, which shows the tension and frustration between the pairs the music builds, resulting in much more frantic actions, shorter shots and a lot of quicker cuts to get the narrative across. The only part that may contradict is the "You're Underneath", where Liv slowly slumps in front of the mirror despite the fact the drums are still going. This is because it's supposed to be a realisation shot, and often people refer to shocking or stressful situations as going in slow motion. so that's why that specific shot is slowed down to get the greater impact. The burning flower also acts as a signifier before the breakdown starts to build up again, along with the use of heavy strobe lighting during the breakdown itself, and the addition of multiple layers and shots in order to have the breakdown quite manic, but still be somewhat cohesive to watch. The emotion also runs high during the breakdown, with shots of both characters singing straight to the camera, overlaid over the pair fighting, showing the different layers of the visuals as well as in the audio. Another way the layers are used to display the music is how the multiple layers slowly disappear and fade into one singular image as the music fades out too to only the piano. The demands of the record label are conventions of their own, with them usually calling for lots of close-ups of the artists, and they may develop a motif that recurs across their work. I use this convention a lot as there are many close-ups of both characters used throughout the whole of my video. 21 Pilots have quite an obvious and strong colour motif with the use of the red and black colour scheme and the black paint across the neck and hands to signify the character Blurryface, all of which I included in my own work to appeal to their fans, but still have a lot of my own ideas throughout, so it's not just me copying one of their videos. The fifth convention Goodwin mentions is the frequent reference to the notion of looking and the voyeuristic treatment of women. The latter point does not feature in my video at all, but I have somewhat utilised the former convention. The notion of looking is throughout my video by the use of the mirrors and shots of them looking directly into the camera. In the flashbacks they look only to and focus on each other, whereas in the current time they look a lot more to the camera and their reflections to show the distance between them since they can't look at each other anymore. There are often intertextual references throughout videos, however I haven't intentionally put any in mine, other than the obvious references to 21 Pilots. The final point of Andrew Goodwin's rules of genre are the technical aspects of the video and how they fit with the conventions. As previously mentioned, I used a lot of thought beats throughout my video, which is probably the most popular technical convention throughout my music videos. For example, Issue's Home Soon has a lot of thought beats throughout. It's stereotypical for a music video to have a lot of different shot lengths and styles along with different camera angles. For example, I have some short, over-the-shoulder shots and some longer high-angle shots throughout my video, with a myriad of other styles and angles like in 21 Pilots Holding On To You video. The editing of my video was mainly placing clips side by side and cutting them to effective times, but there are also coloured overlays and desaturation techniques over it, along with some cross dissolves and overlay transitions. Some more obvious edits where I put two shots side by side when they were in the bed, along with the red and blue almost 3D effect called the prism effect and the TV fuzz effect. The use of sepia and an old film style effect is over the flashbacks to help show they are older than the other clips, and reminds the audience of the old brown reels of film. Other technical aspects used were rewinded and slowed down shots that were used quite a lot throughout the conflict scene, and most of the smoke bomb clips are slowed down too. A similar style of slowing down a big action moment is seen in 21 Pilots' Heavy Dirty Soul video. When looking at all of my research and planning and then to my video, it was obvious to see how I took influence from those videos and twisted them to make them my own instead of just copying them. The shots of flowers can be linked to my analysis of Issue's Coma video, and although I took a lot of inspiration from 21 Pilots' videos, there was also influence taken from the Amity Affliction, with them having quite dark themes in their videos, along with a music video that illustrates themes of suicidal thoughts, called All Fucked Up, which shows similar behaviour that's kind of like what I tried to get in my video. Other influential bands are also My Chemical Romance, as they are my second favourite band, so it makes sense that the themes of their style has snuck its way into my video, but also because they are one of the bands that influenced 21 Pilots and their motifs, so it all goes back in a circle. Whilst Andrew Goodwin looked mainly at what conventions you need to follow, David Buckingham states that genre and genre conventions need to keep developing and changing to abolish forming stereotypes and keep the audience interested in the outcomes being produced. For my genre, it's stereotypical for themes of drug use and alcohol abuse, along with angst and violence, whereas I twisted to develop these themes to bring light to mental illness, and there is an altercation scene in my video, but it's not very graphic, nor is it overly violent. Like mentioned previously, there are a lot of emotions used throughout my video, and a lot more effects in the video, whereas usual rock videos are quite emotionless or stern-faced and clean-cutting editing-wise.